Hello and welcome to this pit stop for Branch and Claw, an expansion for Spirit Island designed by R.Eric Reuss and published by Fabled Nexus games. Branch and Claw adds, as you might expect, more minor powers, major powers, fear cards and blight effects to the game. Many of these cards, as well as the brand new event cards, which can happen at the beginning of each invader phase, are linked into these new tokens which can appear on the board. We've got beasts, they're going to roam around, causing damage to the invaders and then disappearing. We've got the wilds, which represent the plant life, and any time an explorer would go into where there's wilds, the wild goes instead and we don't explore. We've got disease, that's going to prevent building happening in an area and then disappear. And we've got strife, and rather than going to an actual area on the board, this goes to particular invaders and prevents them from doing damage. Now, I said there are events, there are a whole bunch of them, and they come in various types. They're going to have positive and negative effects. The negative effects are quite often linked to whether there are Dahan available in an area or whether there are tokens available. For example, with beasts attack here, they're going to do damage and they're going to destroy towns and explorers. At the top here, we've got a choice of different events that can happen. And in this case, we can either reduce the health of the invaders, but we're going to probably get some blight onto some sands, or we can add our presence, but this is going to cost us energy. Now, the energy in this case is linked to water, and a lot of these events are linked to particular elements. Now, this is going to cost us 4 energy per player. However, it being linked to water, the cost of it is reduced by 1 for every water element we've got in play from our cards. We can also discard cards with the water element on to reduce the cost, or completely get rid of them to take this down to a 0. And there's all different elements, all of them are linked into different cards in the events. The events also are affected by, for example, what invader stage we've got to, becoming more powerful as we go through, or what the terror level is, and again they all link into the Dahan and the beasts and different things, and whether we've got a healthy or a blighted land. We have got 2 new spirits, as you can see. Up here we've got Sharp Fangs behind the leaves, very much linked into these beast tokens, adding them, moving them around and causing attacks with them and creating lots of fear. And Keeper of the Forbidden Wilds is linked to these wild tokens, again, as you might expect, and creates barriers with its sanctuaries and pushes the Dahan forward and makes it more difficult for invaders to get into certain spaces. As well as those things, we've got one new invader, the Kingdom of France, which is a plantation colony, which limits the amount of towns available in the game, and if all the towns are built, you're going to lose immediately. Adds extra explorers, and then actually adds plantations so it ravages the land. With them comes a particular event, which is Slave Rebellion, which is going to come up again and again in the events, and is going to weaken them, and you need to play with the 2 to balance off. There are also 4 new scenarios. Now, Powers Long Forgotten adds these scenario tokens to the board, and they're all face down. And if you get either lots of invaders or lots of Dahan in an area, you get to flip these tokens over, and depending upon what number it is, you're going to turn it over and you're going to get an invader benefit or a spirit benefit. So that really, it benefits you from being able to move around very quickly, move the Dahan around the board. You've got a second wave in which you can play a second game, and in fact a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and it links some things over. It turns it slightly into a campaign game. You've also got one which is about building wards around the island in the ocean areas, and also one in which you can do rituals of flame to burn areas, and those are the 4 scenarios available in the Branch and Claw expansion to Spirit Island. This has been a Game Pit Stop. For more videos like this, check out the Game Pit channel on YouTube. For more in-depth coverage of gaming, please find the Game Pit podcast.